Hi guys, continuation of cast diagram analysis. So let's draw our cast diagram. So now we're going to focus on 180 degrees and 270 degrees. But we must first remember our theta, which lies here. And we know that this is y and this is x. So since this line here, y-axis is parallel to this one, making it this y, and this one is parallel to the base, making it x, and this is r because the circle lies in a Cartesian plane. So now the most important thing according to this small triangle, sine of theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, which is, what's the opposite? Y over r. Cos of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. What's the adjacent? X over r. And then the tan of theta is what? It's opposite over adjacent. What's the opposite? Y. What's the adjacent? X. Very important. So now we're going to focus on 180 degrees and 270 degrees. So you want to focus on angles that lie in this third quadrant. So we now know that this is the third quadrant. So looking at this quadrant here, we know that if we were to identify the angle, it's going to be from here, it's 180 degrees plus theta. So here would be theta. So plus theta, so meaning that it's 180 degrees plus theta, right? So if you are going to draw it nicely, let me draw it nicely. So this is 180 degrees, 180 degrees plus theta. This is the angle, and this line here extends like this, forming a triangle. And this is your right angle, meaning that this is your r, hypotenuse. And now looking at this line parallel to the y-axis, making it y, and this one x. So we need to identify the angles now. The sine of 180 degrees plus theta. So remember, you need to identify, this will be negative y here. Why is it negative y? Because this is the negative side of the axis here. And this one here is negative, right? Because it's the negative side of the x-axis. So if you are going to identify the angle of 180 degrees plus theta, remember that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So what's the opposite side? It's the minus y. Hypotenuse is r, right? So going back to this basic here, in your first quadrant, you have sine of theta, which is y over r. But in this case, we got a negative y over r. So meaning that it's going to be negative sine of theta. So sine is negative in the third quadrant. Now let's try cos of 180 degrees plus theta, which is what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So with respect to this, our adjacent will be minus x over hypotenuse. But going back to the basics, in the first quadrant, cos of theta is x over r, but in our case, it's negative x over r, so it's negative cos of theta. See? And now let's try our tan. Tan of 180 degrees plus theta, which is opposite over adjacent. So looking at the opposite side, it's minus, so it's equals to minus y over and the adjacent side is minus x. See? So both are negative, making it positive. So going back to the basics, it's y over x. And in this case, both the negative divide each other, making us have tan of theta. So this is how you reduce your angles using your cast diagram. The next one, we're going to focus on 360 minus theta.